Well, I know them too, but no relation. Let's see. My name is Mrs. Carson, and I'm a registered dietitian, a licensed dietitian, and I'm going to be speaking to you about good nutrition, which is food. You noticed I wanted to see who all ate this salad. Several of you did not eat your salad, and that's where the nutrients are. Well, there's nutrients in all of the food, but the vegetables and your fruits have more nutrients than most foods. They are lower in calories, higher in nutrients, and that's why even the federal government encourages you to eat vegetables. How many of you eat vegetables? Cooked, raw?
Not raw, but
you didn't eat any salad. What's your favorite vegetable? I don't see
my
your
favorite
name there.
vegetable is broccoli.
Broccoli. Okay, how about you? Where's your name tag?
Yes, you do. No, I can't find it.
What is your name?
Ashley.
Ashley? What are your favorite vegetables?
Salad.
You didn't eat any.
I did, but I didn't want any more.
Yes.
My favorite vegetable is
Green beans. Okay, now what I had intended to do before we got started, but you're kind of spaced apart.
Yep.
I was going to tell the person on the end, I was going to whisper something to her and have her whisper it to the next person and go all the way around the room and let's see what we end up with.
It's called telephone.
Well, yeah, telephone.
Or nutrition.
Tell a nutritionist.
Telenutrition.
Tell a student.
Telenutrition. What?
Tell a student and see what we end up with.
Oh.
Pass it on. Let's see what we end up with, because that's what we're going to be talking about. One of the life skills that you have to come to grips with is good health. And in order to have good health, you must pay attention to what you eat, kinds of foods you eat, and so forth. Hello? You feel healthy as young people? You feel healthy?
Yeah.
Okay. How many of you eat breakfast before you go to school? Every day, do you eat breakfast?
No.
How do you feel around midday before lunch?
Tired.
Hungry and tired. Do you feel hungry and tired around midday?
No. I feel hungry, but not hungry.
Do you lay your head on the desk and go to sleep or take a nap because your stomach is growling?
If you eat a snack, if you eat sweet,
All right.
if you eat sweetie in the morning, look,
Young lady.
if you eat a sweets in the morning, you'll feel all cranky and mean and sleepy.
Yes. And it metabolizes, or you use it up very quickly. But if you eat grains like oatmeal or some peanut butter on toast or a toasted cheese sandwich before you go to school with a glass of juice, you will not get that let down in the morning. So you...
It's good for your body.
What was it?
Good.
Stand up and tell us what I said.
Good nutrition is good for your body.
Good for kids.
Close, but that's not what I said.
I
I said good health begins begins with good nutrition. Good health begins with good nutrition, and that is all the way through your life cycle, from a baby all the way until you die. Okay, so you got it. If you want to be healthy, be able to learn the computers that you were interested in earlier, if you want to be a pediatrician, if you want to be all of the things I heard you tell the other people that you wanted to be, you have got to be healthy first. Okay? So in order to do that, you have got to pay attention to what you put in your body. You are never too young and never too old to do this. Okay? So you might take it lightly and think, oh, I can eat all the junk I want or the garbage I want and I'm going to be okay. You are not going to be okay. Okay? And I have put together folders with information in it about various nutrients that your body needs. Number 1, calcium. What is calcium good for in your bodies? Raise your hand and I will call on you and speak after I call on you. Yes. Speak up so I can hear you. Yes, it's good for your bones. What else? Yes. Yes, it does store in the muscles. What else is it good for? No, I said, what is calcium good for in your bone as far as your development and your growth? How about your teeth? It has been proven of late that most young people drink too much soda and not enough milk. Well, you don't have to drink milk to get calcium. There's yogurt, there's cheese, there's all kinds of foods that you can get calcium from. And most children, some of them, do not grow to their full extent because they do not get enough calcium. And children that tend to grow real fast tend to have brittle bones because they outgrew the nutrients that were needed. Vitamin D, calcium, potassium, all of which are found in your dairy food. Yes, ma'am.
So that's having cereal, would that still count?
Beg pardon?
Having cereal, like that still counts?
What do you do with the milk?
Cereal.
You drink the milk afterwards, or you drink it if it's left there? Because I have a lot of kids who say they pour it out. That's not doing you.
But like, our cereal has sugar.
Well, you're supposed to. We're going to get to the grains. That's a grain product. That's the 3, yes.
You know, if you put like cereals, like stuff like that, and you put it in some warm water and put it in a bag, and then rubber magnet on the bag, and you will see black stuff. It's iron.
Rubber magnet on that? What kind of cereal are you eating?
It's iron and cereal.
Oh, well, a lot of food have iron in it. If your parents have a old iron skillet that they cook in, because when I was growing up as a child, that's where we basically got our iron, from that iron pots and iron skillets. But it was still iron, and we were not anemic. And that's what iron does. It keeps you from being anemic and sluggish and with your head on the table because you don't have any energy. Gotcha. Okay, so sit tall. When you have breakfast, you can sit tall, listen, and learn. But when you, yes.
What's anemic?
Beg pardon?
What's anemic?
Anemic means that your red blood cell count is not as what it should be. your hemoglobin, which is the part of the cell, is anemic. It doesn't have enough protein in it and enough iron, so consequently, your body feels limp. You don't have any energy. But once you start eating the foods that are high in iron and vitamin C and build your red blood cells back up, your energy level goes up. Yes, ma'am.
Can you only get calcium from dairy products?
No, there are other foods that you can get calcium from. But by and large, some of them take such a large amount. For example, you can get calcium from broccoli, but you have to eat so much of it to get the amount of calcium you would get if you drank 1 8-ounce glass of milk. But if you say have just 2 8-ounce glasses of milk and you eat broccoli and some collard greens or some pork and beans or beans, you will make up the calcium by eating those foods. They have smaller amounts, but they have calcium. Your major sources, though, are your dairy products, okay? And that's your milk, your cheese, your puddings, ice cream. Go easy on the ice cream, though, because there's a lot of fat in it. And if you're trying to watch your weight, you don't want to go overboard with it. But yes, to answer your question, there are others, and you will be getting a folder with information in it that gives you a great list of calcium foods that you may want to try to include as much as you can. Now, I know you don't do the purchasing of the food in your house, but you can be instrumental in making sure that, just like you see those commercials where they tell you about all these cereals that's loaded with sugar that's not good for you. Well, the information you garner today, you can be go to the store with your mom and say, listen, I'm going to show you how to read the label. Let's get this cereal. It does not have as much sugar in it because we as a people eat too much fat. That's your French fries forever and ever. Your a lot of the food from fast food, it's just loaded with fat, and it's saturated fat. Right now, when you're eating like that, you are building toward chronic diseases in your old age, or even before you get into old age. Because we're finding now that young people, even at 20 and 25, have type 2 diabetes. And that was not the way years ago, because everybody walked and they got a lot of exercise. They never allowed themselves to get too heavy in their early years. But because of all the fat and the sugar that we eat in the foods that we eat, it's starting to catch up to them earlier. It's a lot of people think that chronic diseases. Now, when I say chronic disease, I'm talking about high blood pressure. How many of you know about high blood pressure? Okay, you know anybody who has high blood pressure? How about diabetes? Okay. How about heart problems, heart conditions? You know someone who has a heart problem? These things are usually, by and large, some of them are hereditary, but most of them are caused by what you eat as you grow up into adults. And while you are an adult, trust, take my word for it, people who eat healthy, eat lots of fruits, vegetables, whole grains, less sugar, less salt, and less fat, tend to be healthier. They move right through life very easily. Very seldom they have more than maybe a cold once in a while. Many of them never have a cold because their immune system is so healthy. And when you're eating right, your immune system keeps you from catching all of these things. You ever see a kid who comes to school every day with a snotty nose and always got yellow snot running out of the nose? They have a poor immune system. They catch everything that comes by. They are not paying any attention to what they eat. Now, I've got in your, yes? Well, allergies are something else. Usually allergies is a clear fluid that runs out of your nose. It's not a yellow fluid that says you have an infection. Usually when you have these yellow mucus things, there is an infection involved, and that is because your immune system cannot ward it off. You're not getting enough vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin Z, and calcium. Foods, all the foods that you need to build your immune system. I was going to say, I have in your folder what is known as a pyramid, a soul food pyramid, and it gives you all of the food groups. How many of you are familiar with the food groups? In your health class, do they talk about nutrition? Okay. But what are the food groups? Speak up so I can hear you. Yes.
Grain,
Yes.
dairy, meat,
You said grain, dairy, meat. What else?
It's oil in the food.
Yeah, fats. Okay, what's another one? Yes. Fruits. And what else? Right. Those are the major groups. But out of those, many people, unfortunately, do not get food from some of the groups over a period of time. And when I give you your folder with your pyramid, let me show you. It's there are many, many young people who, for whatever reason, never get any food from the fruits and vegetable group. They get a lot of grain, but they are refined grain. They don't get whole grains, and like brown rice and things like that. And these are the things that, hearing about them today, you might want to, if you go to the store with your mom, gingerly suggest to her, let's try brown rice. Let's try something that is a whole grain. Okay? Because that has the nutrients that your body needs. They have not been milled out. Now, they do what is known as enriched. Have you ever seen something with the word enriched written on it? That simply means that they have put the nutrient back into the food. Like white rice, they mill it out and it's nice and white, and then they go through a process of trying to put the B vitamins and the oils that came out of the rice back in it. But it doesn't work that well, and that's why it's healthier just to eat the brown rice sometimes. Talk to your parents. Like you say to them, I saw this cereal on television. Let's get a box of that. How many of you ever do that? Okay, because if you watch television, they always advertise things, cereals and foods that are not necessarily healthy for children, but they know that you're going to bug your parents until they buy it. So when you learn about what's good for you and what you should be eating, bug them a little bit. Bug them a little bit about buying some whole grain cereal, reading the labels and making sure that sugar is not the first ingredient in that cereal. Because like you say, if you eat a whole bunch of sugar and go to school, you're not going to be very active as far as it's going to slow you. Well, at first you'll get a high from it, and then it'll let you down, and you'll feel like nothing until you eat again. And that's what happens when you put all of this sugar in your body. So what are your life skills that you have got to, or really should start paying attention to, is your intake, what you're eating. So as I say, every one of you will get one of these pyramids in your folder. And if you notice at the top, that's fats and sweets. Because those are two things that you should limit. You don't have to avoid them, but you must learn how to limit them. Number one, most of the sweets do not have nutrients, or very little, if any. And the fat is what it is, fat. But it has more calories in small amounts of fat than is in large amounts of fruits and vegetables. 45, 50 calories. See that? That's butter. And that's a lot of calories in that little bit of butter. Okay, so if you get something that's reeking with oil or grease, you know that you're getting too many calories. Like I like for people to eat salads, but I always tell them to be cautious, especially if they're using a dressing that has like 100 or 150 calories per tablespoonful, or 2 tablespoons full. Because if you put 3 or 4 of them on there, you can forget about the calories, the salad being low calorie. But salads are good for you because they have all of the green vegetables. You can put all kinds of vegetables in a salad. It's very good for you. High in nutrients. Vitamin A, vitamin C, all of the various nutrients that your body needs to keep your immune system so that you can go to school and not catch all of your little classmates' colds. Okay? Okay. How many of you ever looked at a label on anything you've purchased? I bought some Girl Scout cookies. How many of you sell Girl Scout cookies? Okay, we have people in our church selling them, and they sell lots of them. You see that label on there? Have you ever looked at those on anything that you purchased? Never too young and never too old to start practicing. That's why this information is put on food, so that you can start learning how to watch and see what you're eating. You don't just pick up anything and eat it because it looks good or the picture on the box looks good. Especially if you're trying to get good balanced diets. These are especially good. Now this one right here has a different kind of a nutrition fact. Instead of being like that one, can you stand up and read that nutrition fact? Read it up loud so everybody can hear you.
7 size, 1 package, 22. Okay. 7 size, 1 package, 22 grams. Amount per serving. Calories 100. Fat, calorie, 30. Total fat 3.5.
Total, that's 5% of the DB anyway. It's got 3.5 grams of fat, and that's 5% of the total fat that you need for the entire day. That's what that's telling you. Okay?
Trans fat.
Trans fats. I want you to practice at doing this. We did this at one of the schools, and we had everybody learn how to read labels. So they would bring in snacks, and they would come in and ask the health teacher to read the label for them, and if it had too much sugar in it, she could trade it out for an apple or an orange. So it's very important what you bring to eat for yourself. Some snacks will say healthy, but if you can't read the information that it tells you, it may not be so healthy for you. And the more you eat fats, especially trans fats, saturated fats, and those kind of fats, the more you are building yourself up for chronic diseases as you get older. This is the time when you work at it and start learning how to eat healthy and prevent it. Now, that doesn't mean you can't eat some of the pizza, the good stuff you like. That's perfectly all right. It's just that you don't want to eat it 24/7 every day of the week, and so often that you're getting too much saturated fat, too much salt, too much sugar, and things like that. On the bottom of the pyramid, I want you to notice that they're drinking water and they're exercising. Those three things, eating healthy, drinking fluids, water preferably. You can drink soda, some juice, things like that in moderation. But it's important that you hydrate with plenty of water. Okay? And the exercise is especially important. How many of you do any exercise at school or at home or exercise? Do you still jump rope? How about hopscotch? You don't do hopscotch, but you do jump rope, ride a bike, play basketball. What do you do? Football, double dutch. Well, that's rock and roll.
Jacks.
Jacks. Okay, jacks is kind of like you just sitting there jumping the ball. The ball is bouncing up and down. You picking them up, I think. That's another kind of jack. Okay. But anyway, I want you to take all of the material that's in your folder and review it and see if you can learn something. You see all the beautiful colors of fruits and vegetables?
Oh, it's the colors of green.
You're going to get one that's a small one that you can take in your pocketbook to school. And you got one for snacks, guiding you to eating and making healthy choices. Because I want you to get to a point where if you had, say, $1 and you were hungry and you had to make a choice of what you were going to purchase, that consistently you would choose something that's healthy. It's okay once in a while to choose something that is sort of junky, and you can tell by reading the label. Because if it's got a lot of fat, sugar, and salt in it, you know that it's not the greatest thing. So if you had the choice between 2 or 3 candy bars for your money or an apple and a banana, maybe you might want to split it up, or you might want to get 2 bananas. That's called making healthy food choices. You want to read your label? You can't read it? Okay. How about you?
I'll read it.
All right.
I can't even read it. I'll read it.
You'll read it? Yes, the staff.
How do you get up there?
Say,
Stand up.
Start at the top.
calories, 100 130.
No. Storehouse, what's the serving size?
Okay, serving size 4 cookies, 26 grams. Serving per container about 10. Calories, 130 calories.
Wait a minute. 130 calories are in how many cookies?
4 cookies.
Right. Most people tend to miss that. It's 4 cookies and you got 130 calories. Keep on.
Okay. Calories from fat, 45.
45 grams, 45 calories.
Yeah.
Okay, 45 of the 130 calories are fat calories. Okay.
Total fat, 5 grams.
Okay.
Saturated fat, 2 grams. Trans fat, 0 grams. Cholesterol, 0. What's empty? What empty is
Milligram.
milligram. Sodium, 130 milligrams. Total carbohydrates,
Hydrates.
18 grams. Dietary fiber, less than 1 gram. Sugars, 8 grams. And protein, 2 grams. Vitamin A, 0 grams. Vitamin C, 0%. Calcium, 2%. Iron, 2%.
Those are the things that you just learn to start practicing. Give me that back. Doing. You get better as you go along. And you would be surprised how this information equips you to learn how to eat healthy. Might not seem like a big deal now. Maybe it's not. But eventually, somewhere down the road, it's going to become a big deal. So the more you learn about what you're looking at, what you're doing, what you're eating, the better off you're going to be. This says protein now. Let me tell you, the 3 major nutrients in food are carbohydrates. That was the one you were trying to pronounce there. Total carbohydrate, protein, and fat. Okay, so a lot of people, unfortunately, do not get enough protein. Protein comes from the meat group. You get peanut butter, you get hard cheeses, you get meat, you get beans. All of those things are sources of protein. Tuna fish, all of these are sources of protein. Bread has a little bit of protein, but it's called vegetable protein. This is whole wheat bread. How many of you eat whole wheat bread? Very good. Okay. That's good. That's good. That's a whole grain.
No, real bread.
No, that's not real bread. That's So those are your major nutrients: carbohydrate, proteins, and fat. Carbohydrate, protein, and fat. In those 3 major nutrients are all of your other nutrients like minerals, vitamins, water, all of which is very important for you doing your growth, doing your growing up. Very important. So when you skip any of the food groups, like many of you do, you won't go near a vegetable, so you're skipping it. That's where the vitamin A, vitamin C, folic acid, all of the things that are good for you in those vegetables. So learn how to eat them. Okay, your protein group, your meats, your beans, your vegetable protein. If you combine rice and beans, you get a complete protein, so you don't have to eat meat all the time. Okay, when you go home and you take your pyramid, this is what I want you to do. I want you at the end of a day to go through the various food groups and see how many food groups you had in the day. If you didn't have anything from the fruit group, you are deficient. If you didn't have anything from the vegetable group, you're still deficient. So if you just had something from the carbohydrate group or the grain group, which is your pasta, your rice, your breads, your cereals, and you have a little bit of meat, you only had food from 2 food groups. So all the foods with the good nutrients, the high nutrient foods, low calorie foods were avoided that day. So that's what you want to look at, pay attention to, and make a little hash mark if you had something from each of the groups. And don't do anything with the ones you didn't have. Just see how many days you are eating fairly healthy. Okay? Do that for yourself. Okay. Yes, what's your question? Speak up so My show is
Shut up. Miss Carson.
Yes.
That bread smells like lemon. Can I see that?
Bread. What? Smell like lemon bread. Maybe I had a lemon in there with it. Who knows? Fruits.
Me. I want it.
2 or 3 servings a day.
That's like black.
Nice, healthy food. Fiber. If you notice the label you read, it had very little fiber. You want to try to get foods with as much fiber as possible. That's very important. How much fiber is in your package? That's not grams. Total dietary carbs, dietary fiber, 8 grams of fiber. Okay, the 30% means that is 30% of the total amount that you need for the entire day. So when you're looking at these labels and it has like 900 or 1,000 milligrams of sodium, which is salt, know that you are getting a lot of salt in one serving. And those are the things that set you up for high blood pressure, heart conditions, and things like that. It does not start when you get to be 45 or 50. It starts now. So it's very important that you start eating healthy. Okay. Let's move on. Now, we're going to talk about skills and academic skills needed to be a dietitian. I don't know that any of you are interested as of yet, but let me tell you, it is a fascinating field to work in. But you have to start now paying attention in your science classes. You have to take a lot of science. Chemistry, lots of it. Biology, all of your sciences. So if you're in middle school or elementary school, be sure to enroll in your science classes and build on them. Because in order to get a profession in the field of dietetics, you need lots and lots of sciences. Okay? A lot of people don't do it because they don't want to handle the science. And that's why I'm glad you're young enough to start doing it. Now, there are so many possibilities for employment and entrepreneurship in this field. Okay? So you can become a registered dietitian, you can become a professor in a university, PhD, master's degree, entrepreneur. You can work in a hospital. You can work in public health, which is what I do right now, public health, where you teach people who have managed to get these chronic diseases that we talk about, how to manage them with eating. Now that's when you have to start really paying attention to what you're eating once you have become, once you've gotten a chronic disease. One of those is in your folder, honey. Yes. Go ahead.
You know, like, if you eat, like, stuff like soup, if you eat that every day, like, every 1 hour, then you have to go into the bathroom, what's going to happen?
If you eat soup
Every 1 hour.
every hour, you eat a bowl of soup. Well, I don't know anybody who would be eating a bowl of soup every hour. But does the soup have vegetables in it? And
No.
what's in it?
It's tomato soup.
Just plain tomato soup? Well,
And chicken noodle soup.
okay. So you're eating plain noodle soup, chicken noodle soup. That's why I'm talking to you today, so that maybe you can eat something other than just that and have a little influence on, what your caretaker purchases for.
I ate some broccoli cheese soup. That's so nasty.
No, we're not going there. Food is not nasty.
Broccoli cheese soup is nasty.
No. See, that's where I draw the line. When you think about it, you keep it to yourself because somebody else might like it and enjoy it. So you don't need to make those kinds of comments about it. Hello?
When I was in my house, she was like, "Oh, my friend takes my house. He got it." I said, "It's doing good."
Well, I also have some information in your folder about what areas dietitians work in. So you might just decide that it might be a good field for you to go into. Because right now, let me tell you, that's the one area that is hiring. There is a multitude of jobs available being a dietitian, registered dietitian. And the pay is very good. Whatever you negotiate for is what you get, from $50,000 up. So it's not a bad field to think about. Plus, we also do cooking demonstrations. You ever look at the Food Channel? We do those kinds of things. We also do blogging. I have people who are in the Orlando Dietetic Association who do blogs for General Mills, and they are paid quite a bit of money to do 8 or 10 blogs on a subject that's lifting up their products. So it is also into the social media. Foods have moved right along with all of the other technologies. So if you are a dietitian with the information background, how to do it, and you're technologically advanced, you can make a fortune just by blogging or doing all kinds of things on the internet. So it's not just limited to talking to young people about what they should be doing. There's a whole lot that you can do with a degree in dietetics. So give it some thought, and I did put some information in here about what you will need in order to get the degree. And the kinds of work that you can do once you've gotten it. Okay, any questions? Anybody have any questions? Yes, sir.
What should you like to eat? Like for a balance of food a day, would you like to eat everything on that list in one day?
Not necessarily. That is known as a guide. Nobody is expected to eat food from all of those groups every day. But if you're doing it 5 out of 7, then you're usually hitting a good balance. No, you're not expected to eat something from all 5 food groups every day. But I do expect you to get at least 2 food groups in breakfast. Usually a protein and a grain for your breakfast. And that will hold you until at such time you get your lunch. Okay, I also have some backpacks for you. Put all of your information in. These are little lightweight backpacks, and you can put all of your information that you've garnered and take it home and review it and read it. The fellows get the little black ones and the girls get the pink ones. And all of your folders and information will fit in here. Okay? Yes. Did you have a question?
Oh, no.
No? All right. Jack Johnson will give you your backpacks. Oh, okay. The black ones are for the boys. Down, the black ones are for the boys, and the pink ones are for the girls.
What should we say to Miss Carson?
You're welcome. When I see you in the supermarket, I'm gonna call you.
Supermarket.
Well, you gotta be in the supermarket with your mom.
I ain't gonna go.